All right, this is Andy. I'm from the movie Pain Train. I'm here with Jeff. We're about to go see a wonderful movie.
Yeah, what movie is that?
That movie is Lucy.
Scarlett Johansson?
Scarlett Johansson. Luc Besson. He's made some good movies. Well, he's made good movies. He's made like Nikita, Fifth Element, The Professional.
Okay,
I mean, he's done solidly in there, but that was 20 years ago.
Holy shit, it has been that long. I'm certain he's still got it. Scarlett Johansson.
So to go over like what his last movie was.
Okay.
You might have heard me rant about it a little bit. It's Brick Mansions.
You have ranted about that, and it's not giving me a lot of hope for this one.
Yeah.
And I already had sketchy opinions to begin with.
Oh, so what do you think about this new movie?
This movie just makes me think it's going to be a lot like Hancock was going to be. Like, it's going to start off really, really cool, and then they're going to do something stupid and throw away the original plot, and it's going to get terrible really fast. Like, it's gonna be like, neat, this is kind of cool. This is what the fuck are you doing?
So like, insert Brock Sampson quote that this is getting stupid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's. I saw the trailers, and she's like, okay, it's cool. They're doing the whole brain thing. She learns languages quick. That's neat. Where's she getting superpowers from? I like, brain go fast. Yes, I understand. See time, I don't get.
Well, if you'd only use more of your brain, you would be able to understand the plot of this film.
And that's my fault. That's on me. I don't use nearly enough of my brain. I can't stop time or I don't know what else.
Move on.
Yeah. Move things or learn languages in mere seconds because I want to. So that's my bad.
For one thing, I just apologize to you immediately because I surprised you with this movie.
I mean, I might be able to turn off the part of my brain that has to have a movie make sense and go, yep, that's a thing that's happening. Other things are going on, and then stuff happened in credits. Yay! I ate popcorn.
All right, so we'll go ahead and bring on Nathan here, and then we'll get going because we're running a little bit late to go see the wonderful movie.
Oh no, we might miss it.
Don't
hurry me.
You still agreed. You still agreed to come to see this even after you knew what it was.
I hold out hope that the reason she has superpowers is because she comes from Mondoshawan DNA.
I don't know the reference.
Those are the aliens in the Fifth Element.
Oh.
The big penguin cyborg things. Those are Mondoshawans.
It would actually
not getting the reference. My fiance, I'm going to make you watch this, Raylene. She always rants about how much she loves the Fifth Element. Favorite movie ever.
Yeah.
So I spent too much money to get an out-of-print Mondoshawan bobblehead.
Okay.
From the internet, and it showed up, and I'm like, look what I got you! And she's like, I don't know what this is. Because apparently she had only ever seen the Fifth Element from about 6 minutes into being on air forward.
So
she would always just catch it on TV after the first commercial break and watch the rest of it, so she'd never seen a Mondoshawan in her life. So I never let her forget that. Jeff is making the correct noise.
Yeah, I think they make an appearance later in the film. She probably
for
just
2 seconds when they get blown up.
Yeah.
But yes. I also want to mention that this trailer has one of my biggest pet peeves on the planet, which is a smart character saying a fact that only 18th century hillbillies would understand. Kind of like the supercomputer in Resident Evil saying that dead people's hair and fingernails grow, which drives me insane. Their hair and fingernails doesn't grow. Their flesh rots away from their fingernails and hair, making it look longer.
The water in the skin of that
as it puckers up and
as it leaves,
it
makes it look like it's growing.
So in the trailer for this, they're like,
unless you're a vampire,
that's true. And then it keeps going. But technically, you're undead, then not dead. That's science.
Yeah,
that's science.
Yes.
In this trailer, Mr. Super Scientist God Voice Morgan Freeman says that humans only use 10% of their brains, which is true if you also say that you only use 0.25% of your house. Because I'm only using a fraction of a percentage of my... Oh, wait. I used another chunk of it. And here's another chunk of it. We use all of our brain eventually. We only use like 10% at a fucking time, and there's a difference. Like when I'm not talking, I don't use the speech portion. That's a valid counterpoint. I said humans, not dwarves.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I can only use 10%.
Seriously, though, if I wait a little bit longer, we can accidentally miss the movie.
No, we're going to go watch it now.
I hope my arm was out of frame because I'm not wearing my watch today. That was pantomime.
I can put a watch there, maybe.
Okay, you CGI a watch into there.
Yeah.
Sounds
with
great.
my powerful
Use the
computer.
other 90% of your brain to make a watch appear
All
with
right.
your magics.
There we go. There. Watch. Okay, good. Let's go.
I used to be just like you. Until they put drugs in me that will allow me to use 100% of my brain.
Lucy is the first human being to unlock more than 10% of her brain. At 24%, she can control the cells in her body. At 40%, she can control matter. At 62%, she can control other people.
What happens when she reaches 100%?
I have no idea.
Lucy, rated R.
So we just got back from seeing wonderful Lucy on film by Luc Besson.
It sure was by Luc Besson.
It really was.
If anything's ever been by Luc Besson, that was by Luc Besson.
Lucy Multipass?
Yeah, Lucy Brainy Multipass. I have no idea what the fuck I just watched.
I am right there with you. Like, things happen, there's a status bar, kind of, and movie ends.
This is the second movie that's had a status bar for you.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll just bring you in for movies that have percentages to death.
Unless I've got a
Or
status bar
undeath.
telling me how far along I am, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like,
It was very, very Luc Besson. It felt like just it had weird music. It had a ton of things that
I kind of appreciated the music.
Yeah.
The parts that I had a problem with is they said, you know what science is? Nah, fuck that.
no, those guys were in lab coats saying things, so it's science.
Right.
What I was thinking, like, if you ever known somebody who, like, went to, like, college and for some reason they took a philosophy course and then they came back and they were an insufferable asshole and they tried to shoehorn philosophy into every conversation. Yeah. This is like if La Femme Nikita had done that. It's like, I'm an action flick. By the way, philosophy. Here's a guy's arm being broken, but did I mention philosophy?
you know. I guess I could probably get past all the annoying. You know, my mind is expanding, et cetera, et cetera. I'm getting more smart, blah blah blah. I can get past that point, but.
Well, I mean, that's the premise of the whole movie. You have to give that a little slide. It's what she
Yeah,
does
that's fine with me,
power.
but every single time I see anybody in a movie with a computer being smart, it is the most annoying thing in the world. Because my computer could run immediately as fast as my mind.
The drug made her computers be that fast.
Oh,
that's
I
how
was
it
thinking
works.
the entire thing. The time she's in her girlfriend's apartment and she's on the laptop, it's like, wow, she's got a great internet connection.
Yeah, and a really fast processor. Or a lot of spam.
Would you like if she'd like taken some of the drugs in an eyedropper and just like put them onto the motherboard, and then the computer's like, I am running at 200% capacity.
Oh, it frustrates me every time I see somebody who's like a super genius.
Yeah. The computer's as fast. The only thing stopping your computer from being that fast is that you're an idiot. If you weren't so dumb, your computer would not have any processing speed issues.
And also to show that you're getting even, double smart.
Yeah.
Is to use two computers at the same time.
Well, that's unlike, in
at least there's some credence
NCIS.
behind that. It's like, okay, this one's not fast enough. Here's something I can do something else on, and my brain gives me super multitask power.
And for
Multitask.
some odd reason, everything is a matrix.
Yeah. You go from one super fast computer to two matrix computers. Which she really wasn't even doing anything on. No,
Yeah.
she was typing on them and didn't like.
Well, I did notice she had the hand mash going on. Like, literally, her fingers were not moving. She was kind of moving her hand
but,
around on the keyboards.
What was she doing with those computers?
Looking
What
at
did she
porn.
accomplish?
Oh,
Like, she didn't find any information. She didn't research the villain. She didn't schedule another flight. She literally was just passing time mashing on two computers.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, she wasn't because every time she actually needed to talk to somebody, she knew who they were immediately. Maybe she was just doing research about everybody in the world.
Sure.
Something like that. I got confused over her powers, actually, because she seemed to change them or not use them when it would be appropriate.
Well, it's R2-D2 syndrome. Like, she's in a hallway with a dozen people with guns, and she waves a finger and they all fall asleep instantly. Mm-hmm. And then later, when she's more powerful, she's in a hallway with a dozen people with guns. So instead, she walks towards them and slowly makes them float away.
Yeah,
it's like, why doesn't R2 fly in Return of the Jedi? It's the same thing. I kind of have to feel
sorry in that scene because, you know, like 5 of the 6 dudes get floated and one dude gets thrown through the drywall. Yes. Like, what do you do?
I know, like, she takes all their weapons and flings them up, and there's like guns, and then a goddamn shuriken. Like, of course, one of them had a ninja star. We have to be randomly racist for no reason.
So I guess we should probably quickly go over like kind of like the plot of this movie.
Lucy Smart.
Basically, the whole idea was Lucy got caught up in the beginning of the movie. Really felt too contrived for me. It felt like it was forceful. Suspense.
I kind of lost it really badly when Morgan Freeman explains, you know, like, this is how much brain power we use, and dolphins are better, so they have sonar, which I can kind of give. And then, like, then when the human brain is 40% capacity, they can control things.
And he's right. Like, he's doing a seminar, but he's like, you know, if we could control 40% of our brains, we'd probably have telekinesis. Right at 40, not 39. Yeah. I think at 40 would be TK. And then he's right. She hits 40, and I got TK now. That's convenient.
Yeah. So, when I was talking about at the beginning of the movie where she was talking with her boyfriend for a week.
Yes.
And then he's trying to convince her to go inside the building.
I was cool with that.
And then I wasn't really... It just felt like it was...
Well, after the first 3 minutes of him trying to do it and she didn't want to do it, I got it. And then they went on for another 3 minutes of him going like, no, you really ought to do this. Like, no, I don't want to. You should really do this. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I think they felt they needed more of a backstory, and the only way they could fill it out was to just make that scene go forever.
I was fine with that scene. I really was. I mean, okay. Lightning summary, which apparently we're not letting you get through.
No, you're not.
Lucy is contrived situation, forced to deliver a package. The package contains super drugs. She becomes a drug mule. Super drugs pop inside of her body. She becomes a god. She turns into a USB. The end.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So that's the movie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, for the first
a USB thumb drive.
USB drive. Turns into a USB drive with space on it.
Yeah.
The best part is anybody who watches the movie will never see it coming.
They won't believe us.
Yeah,
they'll go watch the movie. They'll be like, "What? Come on, Bran turns into a tree." Sure, he does.
Wait,
you're
what?
pulling my leg.
Oh, I'm gonna kill you now.
You watched this. You watched the damn thing.
He didn't become a tree.
You know what?
Oh, you son of a bitch! You son of a bitch!
I was explaining what happened at the thing that you've seen. He goes to... Shut up. So the point is...
I'm drinking my soda.
The point is, even if you know... If something's ridiculous enough, it doesn't matter if you know it's coming. You won't believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and right in the movie, things got a little strange. Like, during the big conclusionary sequence, they do the whole, like, white background kind of thing where you just see the people in the room, and I kind of wondered what the hell happened. How did she wipe out existence in that room?
And that's the thing, like, for the first hour of the film, like, if you take out Morgan Freeman entirely, you take out his speech, and you just say, magic drug makes girl magic. And don't give any more explanation whatsoever. Just call it MacGuffin in a bag. It pops. It makes her super magic. And then she gets revenge and kills some kung fu gangsters. The movie's fine. The action was fine. Her getting powers randomly was fine. There was cool visuals. The music was cool. I liked her performance. I even liked the interaction with her and her boyfriend at the beginning. I thought it was an interesting scene that maybe went on too long, but whatever. Like, I was 100% fine with the movie for the first hour if you just excise the brain percentage thing and Morgan Freeman's speech about that.
I just don't know if you can, though. That's
for the first hour. For the first hour, you could have. It really could just be her and the French cop. She's like, this drug made me superpowers. We need to track down this drug. If you took that and just edited out every scene with Morgan Freeman and the brain percentage time cards, it would be a totally fine action flick that I would have really enjoyed. But they didn't excise that. It's in there, so you can't ignore it. And then the last half hour goes so far up its ass, it comes out and goes up its ass again.
Yeah, it did kind of have that Ouroboros kind of like eating its own tail shit.
It
really was.
Its own tail shit. Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah, because like the entire climax, like you have a gunfight and stuff. We're like, okay, she's gonna get her superpowers, more gunfight. We're gonna have like Lilu and Fifth Element kicking the guys and everything. No. Like she's gonna reach 100% and she's gonna become this badass thing, and she's gonna have a kung fu fight. And instead, it was a race to see if she could be pretentious fast enough to be to. She had to reach maximum pretentiousness before she could get shot. Yes, and she had to turn black. But like it was literally just like be more pretentious faster, show more symbolism faster for no reason.
That's one thing I noticed really quickly is they lay on the symbolism super thick. They don't even give you a chance to try to like yes that symbolism. They go like and then we're gonna go straight to the cutaway metaphor of the cheetah and the antelope.
Which
like no subtlety whatsoever. Like,
no subtlety.
In case you didn't figure this out. Here's some footage for you.
Again, I kind of was okay with that if it's a stylistic choice.
I like that, but he went completely away from that at the end of the movie.
Like the first 10 movies, it was blatant symbolism, but it was kind of interesting, the cutaways. Like Lucy is being trapped into this situation she doesn't want to be in, and they cut away to a blatant shot of a mouse at a mousetrap. Yep. And then she's being grabbed by the thugs, and they cut away to the shot of the cheetah and the antelope. Like, it was very blatant, it was very dry, but stylistically, I would have been cool with it if they'd continued that, but instead they just go super pretentious.
They just cut away from that from the rest of the movie.
They replaced it with the time card, the brain percentage time cards.
Yes.
This movie is now 40% done. You're 60% repulsed.
Yeah.
I kind of expected maybe a little bit more at 100% of something like you were talking about. If her just going into
clearly the peak of the human brain's efficiency is a USB. Obviously, we can't get any smarter than that.
Don't fuck with thumb drives. They are at 100% mental capacity. Which isn't even true, by the way, because if you buy a 64 gig thumb drive, it only has like 63 gigs available on it because it doesn't have 100% capacity.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to have its own drivers on there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Lucy doesn't need drivers.
Yeah, she did. That one Asian guy.
Yeah, well,
and then the French cop.
It's true. She
drove from the French cop.
In the credits, there was a guy listed as Lucy's driver.
Are you kidding me?
No. Oh. The taxi guy.
That's the guy who was holding the USB, right?
Yeah.
So a mix of a couple of endings that I really wanted to have for this movie. Nathan is the only one out of our entire group that actually stayed and watched the credits, which turns out there was
no stinger,
nothing at the end. I personally wanted to, because the scene where Lucy, she was in prison and she got beat up by one of the guys, and that's what hurt, because she was muling the drugs. That's what started everything. Is she got kicked in the stomach and drugs exploded inside of her. I wanted to have the stinger at the end of the trailer be her lying in a corner in that same prison, just
foaming at the mouth.
The
whole thing was a fever dream.
The whole thing was just a complete dream.
Yeah.
Or a shot of Morgan Freeman washing his pants and then pulling out the thumb drive out of his pocket, going, "Oh." Yeah. That's what I wanted. I wanted either one of those two endings. Somebody should make those.
I was enjoying the movie. I really was, right up until that last scene. Even the race to be pretentious enough before you get shot, I would have been fine with if anything happened after it. But instead, the movie's just like, oh, she reached 100%, and we're done. You can leave. And like,
she just disappeared, and he shot her. Or shot at her.
Because she's gone.
She was there.
When you reach peak 100%, you turn into a USB thumb drive. And again, not fucking kidding. But if anything else happened after that, if she'd had superpowers, if there'd been a climax, if there'd been anything, I would have actually legitimately enjoyed the movie. I would have told people, hey, the brain percentage explanation's stupid. I wish they hadn't explained it. It's kind of like how I feel with a lot of Shyamalan's later films, where I'm like, I wish he didn't explain why. If it's just an event without an explanation, I'm cool with it.
Wish the trees weren't killing people.
Yeah, if the happening had no explanation, I would love the happening.
Yeah.
You know, and Lucy, if you take up, hey, the brain thing's stupid, but it's a cool thing where she gets superpowers and kung fu. It's a good movie. You should watch it. But the ending fucked that over. And if anything else had happened, like I was even kind of hopeful when she took the overdose at the end to like become superpowered and like tendrils started coming out and absorbing things. Anybody who's seen an anime, Raujin Z,
or Akira,
I was hoping Akira, same thing. You know, she's so empowered with her body that she can like absorb this computer, and now the computer's part of her. She can like absorb this car and drive around with her new car legs. You know, whatever. But instead, she turns into a USB drive, and the movie ends.
I'm gonna interrupt you here, Jeff. My favorite part of the whole thing is that they have a camera filming this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it looks like the camera's just slowly dying because she's absorbing it, and the camera's like, oh. Just slowly going down at an angle. Like,
Tell my wife I love her.
I just thought
I'm
that was
just here to
great.
record this shit.
I'm like, no, Phil.
I don't know, the entire end sequence didn't really draw me in. It was just like, all right, there's going to be a whole bunch of these, the thugs showing up, and they're going to have a fight with the FBI, and Lucy's going to show up and just stop them all with her superpowers, and she sits in a room and has flashbacks. Like, super flashbacks.
Like formation of the planet flashbacks.
Right. She goes back in time to touch a monkey. That's
She does. Excuse you. Technically, it's an Australopithecus.
Oh, right. But she totally touches it.
She touches the shit out of that monkey.
So we have to update the synopsis here, though, too.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to. She talks to the boyfriend, gets caught, becomes a drug mule. Drug mule goes in. She gets kicked in the stomach.
Gains superpowers. Touches a monkey.
Becomes a USB drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just frustrated more than anything because it is easily the best of the films we've watched so far for Pain Train by nature of not being completely abhorrently bad. But I'm just so frustrated because it almost could have been good. It was almost there because, like I said, the first 60% of it I was legit enjoying.
Yeah.
Like if it had ended strong, I would have recommended it to people.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I chose it for the Pain Train because it felt like it could have been something.
Coin flip.
Huh?
Coin flip.
Yeah, it could have been really good. I mean, the Rotten Tomato viewers gave it I think it was over 50%. So that's why I thought it was like, oh, this.
I enjoyed over 50% of it.
that is true.
Yeah, it's more like an editing room floor kind of 50%. Like this scene, yes, this scene, just go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, cut out Morgan Freeman from the first half of the movie, and then have the ending of the movie, like all the speeches and stuff. She can still hunt him down because she needs science for some reason. I don't know.
Like the whole record everything kind of stuff that can stick.
Yeah.
Because you're becoming omnipotent. Sure, we'd like to know some of that.
All right, so cut out his super accurate predictions. Just have him be, that he's a guy about the brain, and she's like, I should seek out a brain specialist. So she goes in the films, and he administers the drug, and then she hits 100, and then she goes Super Saiyan and kung fu's the shit out of 100 guys with machine guns.
Yeah.
Then I love the movie.
I would have liked it better if it was kind of the same thing. If they kind of established that Morgan Freeman was somebody who was doing brain research and learning about things like that, and not really have anything to do with the movie except for at the very end when he receives an envelope with the USB drive in it. And the rest of the movie is her going after and killing off everybody who has anything to do with the creation of that drug.
Right. Because, who says her package that had the 4 sacks in it was all of the drug? Like, there could be a factory in Saigon.
They had to make it somewhere. It's not the suitcase did that.
Yeah, it's not like the Stones in Fifth Element or in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Like, they could just be cranking out boatloads of this shit.
Oh, yeah. No, there's some other super, brain-powered person somewhere else on the planet going I'm not going to do any of this nonsense. I'm gonna sit at home and have flashbacks to women in showers.
But then they might disintegrate in a bathroom.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem, too. Yeah.
Well, they haven't stopped production. I mean, the guy who was ordering the production of that drug, he died in the film. So, all they know is that they still
the people
get to work.
Like, well, without a purchaser, we're not doing anything,
No, he didn't. Well, maybe he did. There's the Asian super hierarchy shogun guy. Where's the gay French businessman who was behind it?
Oh, yeah. The one
nowhere.
Yeah. Which also reminds me, she's awfully selective with who she kills. Like, she murders 8 people randomly when she starts getting her powers, and leaves big villains and hired thugs alive.
Yeah.
Well, that's to perpetuate the plot. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that too.
Well,
that she has the power to do it.
Oh, but now she chooses not to because she doesn't feel like murder today?
She wants to maybe she... Well, never mind.
She killed those guys when she first got her powers in self-defense.
Right.
Okay,
got it.
Then she went to the boss not to kill him, but to find out where
the taxi cab drivers?
She shot him in the leg because he was no use to her.
Don't you remember the subtitle? My leg.
Oh, right.
She shot him in the leg to encourage the other taxi driver to help her. Okay. Yeah. She kills the random person on the surgery table because that eliminates the obstacle to her getting surgery from the doctor.
Right.
She didn't go to the big boss to kill him. She went to the big boss to find out where the rest of the drugs were because she needed them.
Right.
So she didn't. She
But
only killed.
She killed his 2 bodyguards.
Who would have killed her if she didn't?
Right.
He was helpless, and she left him alive, helpless because he wasn't a threat.
Except that he was.
Later, when he came
at
after
that
her,
moment, yeah.
Right.
but at that moment, he wasn't.
So someone using a lot of their brain capacity can't figure out, like, maybe this mob boss who I've assaulted and killed his thugs could possibly come back after me.
She was only like 20% at the time, so she didn't realize.
I'm not using 20% of my brain. I could have figured that shit out.
You don't think backwards to what your mom's boobs tasted like.
Thank you. I'm glad for that.
That was a creepy scene.
Yeah.
And I was hoping, like, she's explaining to her mom on the phone, and she calls her mom because she's all, like, freaked out. And she's like,
calling her
you know,
mom while she's getting her stitches cut on her stomach and having the drugs removed
She's very calm.
from her stomach.
But, like, she calls her mom, and, like, with no explanation, she's like, Mom, I can feel time, and I can see through space, and the heartbeat of the earth, and I can sense you, and I can remember stuff. She says all this weird stuff, and I wanted her mom to just be like, are you fucking high?
Yeah.
Like, are you crazy? It's 2 a.m.
Totally
in Taiwan. Yeah.
I am tripping balls.
Instead of mom's just like, oh, I love you, bye.
I got a little high snorting chunky pixie sticks, and
Yeah.
way out.
Also, according to Lucy, gravel is a powder.
It's very thick gravel. Low resolution gravel.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, it's high resolution powder. Or
Yeah. Dump
the other
out a
way
box
around.
of grape nuts and tell me it's snortable. I snort grape nuts all the time.
I like blue flavored grape nuts.
There's like a box of nerds, and people are snorting them through straws.
Yeah, that's probably even the closest example of it. Yeah, it looks like nerds.
Like it's
Yeah, it's chunky. It is not like a fine powder. It is a
it is rock. It is the salt that you put on your driveway,
yes,
but blue.
or like the little pebbles you put in the bottom of a fish tank.
Yeah,
It is that.
I would not describe that as a powder,
No,
nor would
Apparently
I snort
it
it.
no.
but it's highly water soluble.
yeah.
We know that. They just dump that sucker and just like, oh, Kool-Aid.
I like how they have all these. Well, at least Morgan Freeman has all these theories up to 40%, and then after that, they don't know what the fuck's going to
Because
happen.
when you read a theory where going at 40%, you can lift shit with your brain.
Yep.
You kind of start going like, yeah, no one's gonna believe anything else I say anyways.
So they all willingly give her. She says that this blue stuff that's giving me powers. So let's take all 4 bags of this. Let's water it down and shoot it into me.
well, that point,
Would you say no to her?
she does kind of have Jedi mind powers at that
Well,
point in time.
I suppose
yeah,
she
do
probably
that.
did. Oh, we forgot to mention the mention that how she proved her powers to the poor scientists.
Dickest move ever.
Yeah.
Not like because 2 seconds later she shows she can grow extra hands and stuff. Like maybe that proves it. Instead,
Yeah.
you just have to be, hey, painful traumatic memory. Let me make it fresh again. Fuck you.
Believe you got powers now?
Hey, remember when your 6-year-old daughter was splattered across concrete? You do now.
No, she's gonna prove throughout the most movie. She's a bitch.
My favorite-
like I'm gonna tell the cops stop chasing us. Don't bother. I'm gonna lift the barriers under the car and flip them into a marketplace.
Yeah.
That's much better than just telling them to stop.
Right. I can make them stop peacefully. No, let me fucking ruin people. My favorite thing, though, about the Morgan Freeman 100% theory is that he's given his speech at whatever college or whatever, and people are interrupting him to ask these questions, which he should have been said, excuse me, shut the fuck up, I'm talking. But instead, he's answering these questions, and he's talking, at 10% this, at 20% this, at 40% this, at 60% this. And the guy goes, excuse me, sir, what about 100? Which, first of all, he's obviously increasing in numbers. Just shut up and wait till he gets there naturally. You don't have to interrupt. But Morgan Freeman stops and goes, I don't know what would happen. Like, never before in the history of setting up this PowerPoint presentation and doing this theory has he ever gotten to 100 before? Has he stopped at 60 and go, I like my theory,
I'm thinking he's used most of his classes just getting up and walking out.
He's never even thought about 100% before. He has no notes, no theories, just like, it's never come up,
I'm kinda wondering where you drew the conclusion in the first place. Like, all right, when your brain gets to 40%, you can lift stuff with it. Like, where does he come up with that conclusion? Like, that just seems like a logical point, and random stuff that seems cool to go with it.
I'm
Here's
more
something that
fine
could
with
blow
that
your mind. Is maybe Lucy told him.
in the past.
Whoa!
I'm more fine with him pulling random symptoms out of his ass for random numbers than legitimately expect me to believe that he's never even thought about what happens at 100% before. Like, the look of shock on his face when the guy asked. He's like, no one's ever asked that before. What an interesting question. Bullshit. Bullshit. Like, at least just have him go, we don't know. It would be crazy, wouldn't it? Instead, he's just like,
No. I don't know.
Weird.
So strange.
All right.
He was not using 10% of his fucking brain that day.
No.
Speaking of people going crazy, Samuel L. Jackson cannot say no.
Oh, are we talking about trailers in front of Lucy now?
Oh,
Samuel Jackson cannot say no to a movie. He literally has no ability to say the word no to a movie. Which, if you were throwing millions of dollars at me every movie I was in, I would not say no.
That's a good point. But
Like, here's a snuff film starring you and your mom. How much? $50 million. She's lived long enough.
do I get a lisp?
Do I get a lisp? Do I get to say motherfucker?
All right. Sorry. Yeah. But anyway, Lucy, I don't know. If we had to rank it out of 10, do we have a ranking? We don't have a ranking system. We should make one.
out of a 10-point scale, I give it a purple.
Get of a purple?
Oh, no,
All right.
sorry. Blue powder.
Blue powder.
Blue powder.
All right.
Grainy blue powder.
Watch the first 2/3 of it and plug your ears anytime Samuel L. Jackson is on screen, and you'll have a decent flick.
You mean Morgan Freeman?
He does.
Lawrence Fishburne. You brought up Samuel L. Jackson.
No.
Sorry. Man, Morgan Freeman has lots of freckles.
There's a lot of close-up shots of Morgan Freeman.
Of his
Freeman and his
freckly face.
Yeah.
God.
I wanted to pick one of them off.
Like, nope. Hey, is it chocolate syrup? Oh.
All in all, movie worth seeing.
We're seeing like on HBO, maybe a rental.
Don't
Maybe
hate
Netflix
yourself.
it.
Don't hate yourself if you miss it, but you go ahead and see it.
It's one of Luke Besson's better films of recent times.
It's his best film in the last 15 years.
Yeah. I don't know. Starship Trooper is pretty good.
That's not Luke Besson.
He wrote it.
He didn't write the novel.
I would
No,
give more
meaning he
credit
did
to
the
Starship
screenplay
Troopers
for
than
it.
Lucy.
How old is the first Starship Troopers, though? It might be more than 15
95.
years.
That might be.
So that's
Yeah.
20 years ago, and I said
Yeah.
within the last 15.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew that some of those 90s films, like Fifth Element, were legit good.
Well,
so
those yeah.
post year 2000, it's Luke Besson's best film. And if it didn't get so insanely pretentious at the end and wasn't so obsessed with the brain explanation of her powers, I would have legit enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. When it was just magic pixie stick dust and done,
Yeah.
didn't explain like, oh, it's because she's got better brain capacity. You know, it just super juice.
And even that, it's kind of like the midichlorians thing with the Force. Like if you go, that's stupid, but it's still cool because they're a Jedi.
You know what though? When you walk in with that premise versus trying to explain it, it's much better. There's a lot of really good movies like they just have superpowers. Why? Because they got superpowers.
Yeah, exactly. You
I
don't
found a
need
suit-
an explanation, and it's better that way.
Yeah.
I found a suit, but it had no instructions.
Yup. Or the great, like the beauty of the whole Marvel universe, where they just go, "Hey, they're mutants."
Yeah, they're born with it.
So how does that make? Hey, they're mutants. Shut up. He mutant magnet now.
DNA and stuff.
He mutant magnet. He mutant thought good. She mutant wall walk. Mutants. Done.
Or super serum.
Yeah.
There's a lot of super serum in
And that's the thing. This
Marvel
could have just
too.
been fucking super serum.
Yeah, that could have been it. It could have been the Captain
said.
Marvel juice.
Really is less pretentious and
Or
no
Captain-
explanation. I love the movie.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was easily the best movie that we've seen for the Bane Train.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, our next one, which I'll give a preview, and I don't know if anybody's going to show up, so we might not actually record it. But now I have to. We have to.
Have to.
Yeah, we have to.
Which one? You've threatened
Yeah,
so many next.
that's true.
We've had the Hercules double whammy. As
Hercules
a
double
threatened
whammy
thing.
is next.
That's
That's the preview. Hercules double whammy,
it'll probably be better than the Turtles.
and that's after that.
Damn it.
All right, that's it. Welcome back. We just what?
We're not certain what we just did.
That's not professionalism.
Oh.
No, not you. You're fine. This
Oh,
isn't
okay.
professionalism.
This is just fine.
Sure.
No, it's blue, like from the movie. So it's a tie-in.
It's my Blue Meth.
Yeah.
Is that a powder also?
Well, it's in liquid form now. All right, I'll put it away.